Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K. We are finally in the month of July. Summer is here. And, okay, yes, technically July started last week, but I took that extra week of a hiatus just to relax a little bit. Can I please continue? Thank you, Nitpick. Okay. 9 years ago... Actually, 10 years ago, now that I think about it, 2014, a lot of things happened to me back in that day. Graduated high school, I stayed an extra year. I finally went into college, and among those things, me and E found something amazing. It's a little bit of a story. Me and my family were going on a cruise in Miami. We stopped by a hotel. And as we were walking through the lobby, I noticed a bunch of people, teenagers, gathered around, and they were playing a card game I never even heard of. So when I got up, I watched them play for a bit, and after I went up to the room, I looked it up, and turns out there was an anime about it, and it was freaking great. It was really, really great. So once I got back, I informed E of this new show. We went to our local card shop to try to talk, which at the time was in our mall, but now we have two other card shops that we go to, so yeah. And we found a whole community of amazing people to play the game with. We got into it, and and we're gonna stand up and ride to the Avatar in Cardfight Vanguard. This game really sets the bar for what other trading card games can amount to. We still love Yu-Gi-Oh! We still love it. But Vanguard brought forth a new atmosphere, a new way to play, and it was fantastic. And to celebrate basically 10 years of us playing the game, I'm going to go through all the clans of this amazing game. Wait, no, not that one! Not that one! I am not going through that. I don't play this one that much. Get it out of here. What a great way to start the month off. I am talking about the original game from the original series to the V series, and not the new one, Overdressed, that's been out for a good number of years. They limited it down to 6 clans, or nations as they call it. Whereas in the original, there were Megalanika, Zoo, Dragon Empire, United Sanctuary, Dark Zone, and Stargate. Six nations, and a majority of them had a big bunch of diversity in their card designs, play style for each clan. So we are talking about original 24. The original 24 clans. I will be going over, I will ranking them based on my overall enjoyment of the clans and my overall enjoyment of the playstyle, the designs. And I'll kind of be more talking about the original series so basically, original Vanguard to Vanguard G, basically. The V series was kind of a reboot that kind of implemented new mechanics into each clan, kind of changed things up a little bit, but it's almost the exact same thing with a little changes here and there. But I'll be going over every single clan from, again, Vanguard to G, in my own opinion, based, again, card play style, theme, and overall my enjoyment of each one. So for those of you who don't know Vanguard, I'd suggest you take some notes. It's a fun game, and I really hope the game company, what we got with Link Evolution for Yu-Gi-Oh!, we need to get one for the original series, from the original to the G, because I would really play that all the time. Starting at number 24, there's kind of an in-joke in the group that I was in, that the guys who played the game would call this a certain type of deck because of the basic theme. And considering I just got last 2 weeks ago, I saw a K-pop group for the first time. I really enjoy this clan a little bit, and I see the appeal. We are going into the deep waters of the Bermuda Triangle. And no, I don't mean the one where planes and boats and everything go missing within a certain area. I'm talking about the clan that is basically mermaid pop idols. I am not freaking joking. That is a legitimate theme, and it's basically Little Mermaid if they went full on High School Musical or what is that? What is that one anime about the idol girls? The idol girls, and they put on performances. Love Life, that's what it was. So it's basically Little Mermaid with Love Life. And and the designs are really, really cool. With a bunch of them yeah. Look at some of these card designs. They go really, really well with it, making it very fun, colorful, and they get a good mechanic of bouncing cards back from your field into your hand, so you can implement more ability. You can use multiple abilities, because most of the cards' abilities activate when they are placed on the board. The only thing I don't like about it is how overly used it is, and how not used so much in the anime it was. They didn't get a full on, I mean, they got a full deck later on in the first bit, but in the beginning of the Vanguard, it was kind of they kind of had this thing in the first season where some of them would mix clans a little bit, which kind of it's not frowned upon, but it definitely kind of hinders you a little bit, because you can't use abilities unless you have a card of that same nation on the board. So they kind of didn't make a big breakthrough until season 2 and season 3. But again, Bermuda Triangle, great clan, great designs of characters, play style that bounces cards back to your hand for recycling abilities, and basically for adding protection into your hand. So these mermaids can sing to their heart's content, and you don't know whether to applaud for them or scream in defeat that you lost to a bunch of pop idols. Number 23. What are you doing there? This is going to be a loaded joke episode, isn't it? Yeah. Ninjas. 2 different forms of ninjas are in this game. And the one I'm talking about right now is the Murakumo clan, which, again, are great ninjas, dragon monsters, and anthropomorphic animals, Japanese mythology. As ninja, and they have the amazing ability of certain ones being able to call out copies of them onto the board from the deck, and then returning to the deck at the end of the turn. So basically, it's kind of the shadow clone jutsu thing, where they vanish after they're being used. And a good majority of the cards work well when they have multiple copies of the same guy out on there. So basically, the more copies you got, the more boost of power you can give. And it basically allows for multiple attacks, which I do love. I love the aesthetic of them, a bunch of them. Some of them being dragon ninjas, some of them being anthropomorphic animals. And again, like I said, Japanese mythology, which I love that this game takes reference from all sorts of around the world ideas, from ancient Greece to Rome to England to to, yeah, again, Japanese mythology and a lot of other references. And I do love that in this game. And the Murakumo clan is fun, but for me, it kind of goes near, again, it's on the far bottom. I enjoy it, but not as much as the rest of the clan. So these guys give Naruto and Kakashi a run for their money. Okay, was that too much of an obvious joke? All right, let's go to another one. Number 22 is basically, I know a bunch of people I know would love this deck. It's all about time travel, steampunk, with a little sprinkle of Doctor Who aesthetic into it, a little bit. We have that debuted in the second series, Cardfight Vanguard G. We've got the Gear Chronicle, which, like I said, is basically a combination of sci-fi, steampunk references with time travel. Being the new main hero's main deck and being the only one with it. No, it's not plot armor. It's not plot armor. He does lose a good majority, so it's not insta-win all the... That's what I love about Cardfight Vanguard. A good majority of the time, they don't clean sweep the entire game. They don't beat every opponent they fight, which is great. So going back to the Gear Chronicle, look at these designs. They go from human steampunk to steambot machines to giant time-traveling dragons made of metal, which is fantastic. And I love their ability to time leap, which basically they can send cards from your opponent's field to the bottom of the deck, which basically sending them back into the future, like sending them back in time, or later on in the series, you can take your own cards. So say you have a grade 1 card, you use a certain ability that sends it to the bottom of your deck, and you can call grade 2 out. So they go from grade 0, 1, 2, 3, and in the second series, they go to 4, which is immensely powerful. So yeah, you can time leap your opponent's cards back to the deck, or you can time jump your characters, your cards, into being a stronger grade, so you get more attacks in and get better cards out. I do love them because they were the main character's main focus, and I like how certain characters have that one archetype or that one specialty of the deck that no one else can use, which is really, really fun. It's on the lower half of the list because I never really used it that much, and as good as it was, it got a little annoying or it got a little repetitive seeing the exact same one over and over every single game or every single episode, basically. So it's not a small gripe, it's just a small one. Branching into number 21. Branching into 21. Who the hell wrote this? Okay, then. Branching into 21, we have the Neo Nectar Clan. For all you nature lovers out there, this is a deck for you. What does it do again? Oh, yeah. Basically, a nature civilization in the zoo where vegetation and plants become alive. From sentient plant monsters to nature dragons to nature-themed musketeers charging into the fight. Which, again, I love the aesthetic of having a musketeer, the French musketeer theme, and nature theme. They go so hand in hand in the game. Also, they have ones where it's nature maidens, and they look yeah, you can kind of, don't ask. Basically, a big theme of this game is kind of like the Murakumo, superior calling certain new units from the deck that have the same name as some units, while others by calling them from the deck to the board, they increase in power. So it's basically planting seeds in order to bloom more abilities later on. And that is during the second season of G, they implement keywords that each clan uses in order to implement their own abilities. So the ones I mentioned, we've got Harmony for Bermuda Triangle, we've got Shadow Stitch for Murakumo, we've got Time Leap, and we got Bloom, which as more cards are called from the deck, you gain a boost of power, and depending on if it's the same name of a card or not. Overall, the Neo Nectar is a great start to the Zoo Nation. Again, nature cards, sprouting power throughout the board. And even if you do get your board wiped by certain cards, you can still, a small seed can still bloom a massive forest. And that is a great example of this clan. Again, it's on the lower side because I don't really have that much of a whole thing for it. So, yeah, which is okay. Number 20, we got... So Season 2 kind of orchestrated some new clans coming in, and one of the first ones, we already have Royal, we have Shadow, and Season 2 brought us the Gold Paladins, which are basically a resistance of brave warriors trying to fight the evil after the other two were consumed and forgotten about in Season 2. Seriously, watch the anime. It is really, really good. And they don't do shadow magic like Yu-Gi-Oh!, so they do their own thing. And it's just marvelous. Gold Paladins, again, I love the theme of having their armor, their weapons. They're basically a rebellion of warriors who come to face the charge after the other two are, again, consumed and forgotten. A big gimmick of the Gold Paladin is Superior Calling, which is like special summoning. Multiple. From the top, mostly from the top of the deck. A majority of them you can like search your deck for certain cards, but the Gold Paladin requires basically the top card of the deck being flipped and calling it and activating numerous abilities. It's a deck that focuses on building up your board and a good synergy between your units. That's what the cards are called, your units. And granting power as you call more from the deck. They're, again, lower on the list. The other two are a little bit better with their gimmick. And like I said, after Season 2's get a roundabout, it was kind of again, starting off bringing the new clans into the game. So it was good, but it got better later on, which I love. Yeah, again, I got not much to say for the Gold Paladins other than they're a shining example of what can be done if you work together as a team. Man, that was even cliche even for me. But this next one, oh boy. So, I basically talked about one from the water clan, the fire dragons. Oh no, wait. Okay. Number 19. You know what? I have no better joke for it, so I'm gonna do this.
Enough messing around, huh? Let's play this game. Let's play some football.
Do you get it? We are going into the dark zone, into the demonic realm for the Spike Brothers clan. A deck that is mainly focused on America's favorite pastime, football with demons. And I am not kidding. This is an actual thing. And it works. From demonic quarterbacks to computerized coaches to gorgeous cheerleaders defending you in combat, The Spike Brothers have a great synergy ability. Having the from using the soul, which is as you stack cards underneath your Vanguard, that includes the soul, and a lot of cards require a soul to activate abilities. But the Dark Zone implements it at full force in numerous ways. For the Spike Brothers, by accumulating the soul and soul blasting, where you take a card out of the soul into the discard pile, you can grant power to attacking units, and then you send them to the bottom of the deck, and then you can superior call numerous times, well, depending on what you can do, and attacking full throttle. Again, it's just like American quarterbacks in football, charging the field and other players getting the ball and continuing the play and counterattacking and defending. That is a great way to explain this game. And they implement the football theme so good. All the players are demonic characters and weird. Again, a lot of anthropomorphic animals are done in this game, but they're done so well. My personal favorite is High Speed Baraki. This purple rabbit little shit with a permanent grin. Oh my god, it looks like Jax from Amazing Digital Circus. I did not see this coming. I don't care. And a good majority of the buildup is during combat. Once you have open spaces, you can superior call up guys with certain abilities in order to take the space and continue the full onslaught of attacks. This clan is a great gimmick, great design, love the gameplay. It works so well, and you'll be able to get a touchdown and victory with every single play in the long game. But again, most of the cards build up for that final rush, that final game, that final play, and it's a burn to a long game that ends. That's a good way to end the match. And the Spike Brothers do it phenomenally. Okay, high intelligence, desserts, nuns with machine guns. I am not freaking joking. These three things should not even be considered being in the same thing. But they are. Enter the Oracle Think Tank, a high collective of high intelligent creatures that focus on prediction and card draw, basically allowing players to draw more cards and also to look at cards from the top of the deck, putting them back, and implementing a strategy that focuses on defense and combat. And a lot of the designs come from, again, Japanese mythology, some ancient Roman names. A lot of them are focused on fortune tellers that can predict the future. So basically looking at your deck and basically stacking your deck the way you want in order to implement a big strategy later on. And also to get hand control, which is important in this clan because it depends on how many cards you have in your hand. Certain cards will gain a power bonus. From the Tsukuyomi series, which allows you to look at the top 5 cards, pick the certain card, call and ride it as your Vanguard, and then send the cards to the bottom of the deck. And with a 50-card deck limit, as showcased in the first season of the anime, a character with an eidetic memory can memorize the order and placement of every card in her deck. So later in the game, she knows exactly what's coming up once the deck is kind of recycled up to the top again. It is a beast, especially in the last 7-10 episodes of the first season. But later on, that strategy kind of shows it's kind of a one-trick thing where if it doesn't work, you're basically screwed. Now, a lot of you heard me saying machine gun nuns, and that is basically a thing. The Battle Sister series, which is a bunch of different characters that, again, allow you to look at the cards of your deck and draw a lot of cards. But the theme of it is nuns with heavy artillery, and they're all named after desserts, like Battle Sister Coco, Battle Sister Chocolat, which is a small female elf nun with a massive machine gun. For all my cosplay friends who watch my videos at all, if you see any designs that you would love, yeah, feel free, guys. Check them out. One thing I love about the Oracle Think Tank is its focus on card control. And some cards do give your opponent an extra benefit of drawing cards as well. But you also have cards that will prevent your opponent from using certain characters. Like Silent Tom here. When he attacks, your opponent cannot use grade zeros to guard. And those are the ones with the highest defense shield. So cutting those out right off is perfect strategy. All right. We're next off number 17. Coming to the Royal Paladins, which is the main hero. But unlike Gear Chronicle, other characters can use the clan too, where we use righteous paladins and swordsmen and scouts and doggos with wings and badass armor. I don't know. The Royal Paladins' main gimmick is searching your deck and calling cards that you want. And also boosting up your board's power. The more you have, the more beneficial you can get for it. And I do love the designs from the main dude, Blaster Blade, which, look at this. This is sick design in and of itself, and it's a design that has survived the test of time with every new series, and they make him even more powerful. And all the cards are cool. They're kind of futuristic, but at the same time have that old Knights of the Round Table look. And it's just beautiful to watch. It is legitimate. This clan is one of the favorites of E. And it shows. It is an absolute beast of a deck. Main character deck. But later on, it kind of doesn't really get that much attention later on. As it goes away in Season 2, kind of. And then they bring it back in Season 3. And a new archetype for the female character. The Jewel Knights. Which are, again, a form of female knights. And it's done pretty good. I love the constant... And no matter what series you use, they all have the same gimmick of superior calling from the deck and boosting attack power for the front line for a full-on assault. I do love the Royal Paladins. They're a smidge near the middle of the list, but there are 16 other clans that are so superior. Coming in at number 16... Stand at attention, soldiers! It's time to go prehistoric on the board with the Tachikaze clan. This deck is one of my absolute favorites. Robotic, militarized dinosaurs! It is so freaking awesome. Dinosaurs with a military theme? It's like they combined Dino Power Rangers with... What's an army? G.I. Joe? Whichever. It's still awesome. Seeing dinosaurs with high velocity weaponry and just absolute amazing design. From... Oh my god, there are so many that I love. From the Tyrant Death Rex that devours its its own troops in order to increase its own power. That is an ability that I love with this clan, because it's the law of the jungle. The strong will survive. And by sacrificing your own troops, you gain even more power. Now, a big thing with the Tachikaze clan is that a majority of the cards require you to get rid of another card in order to play them. But some of the cards, like the beginner card Dragon Egg and Sky Terra, have an ability where you can flip one of your damage in order to return it to your hand. So basically you sacrifice a troop, but then you retrieve it in order to use it later on for either combat or defense. And then later in the series, they implement the Ancient Dragons, which are heavily mechanical and, again, utilize this ability, this tactic. Once your guys have attacked, you get rid of the ones that have attacked already in order to increase the other power. And some of them also have the ability of, after they're gone, they can call more troops into the fray. And like the Spike Brothers, it is a onslaught, but you gotta play. But like any war game, full force isn't the only thing that you should focus on, because having open space on the board and utilize that open space is where the strategic mind of the Tachikaze comes in. Yeah, you can go use full power on your opponent, but if you don't strategize of how to defend the oncoming attacks later, all that power will go to waste. And it's smart, and that's what I love about this clan. You have to play smart and aggressive. And I do love that about this clan. Again, the aesthetic of weaponized dinosaurs that doesn't require teenagers piloting them. It's just a great gimmick, a great aesthetic. And for players who love a full combat area, Tachikaze is definitely the one for you. And now, we're going... Colonel. Colonel. I just made a joke that referenced the last one. Not so funny. We're leaving the Dragon Empire and the Jurassic threats of war to go down into the depths of the ocean, where undead pirates wait to greet you. We are going into the Grand Blue Clan, which again is another favorite of E's. Basically, undead pirates. What he said, I couldn't resist. Undead Pirates is absolutely fantastic. And we all know if it's pirates and zombies, you know damn well what the gimmick is going to be. Right? Maybe for those of you who need a kind of bit more explanation, if this card doesn't explain it, I can't help you guys. The Grand Blue specializes in sending cards from your deck to the drop zone, which is basically the cemetery, graveyard, discard pile, whatever. And later in the game, calling your undead crew to fill the board. Even if your opponent gets rid of them in combat, you can still resurrect them and rise up and fight. And we got some amazing characters and really fun ones like Dandy Guy Romario, Captain Night Mist, which it looks like Jack Sparrow if he was a rugged vampire dude. Oh yeah, a majority of these are vampires. Zombies, vampires, ghouls, the works. Pirates, the works in this clan. We got giant possessed ships. We got ghosties that make up like the protectors. And later on in the game, they get so much more stronger by having a certain number of cards in the drop zone to, as your discard pile gets full, the power of those who were resurrected get added to their own power. Which is so cool to have this kind of aesthetic. Undead pirate crew rising up from the grave and coming back to fight once again. We got Commodore Blue Blood. We got Ruin Shade. We have Basskirk, who looks like Davy Jones if the tentacles were his hair. And the aesthetic is on this list alone, but it gets so much higher because of the aesthetic and the constant play style. Not only will sending cards to your deck also help you, it can also kind of screw you over because you don't get to reshuffle your deck. Once you run out of cards to draw, you're done. So you got to play smart. Going too fast into getting rid of your deck could hurt you in the long run. But yeah, the Grand Blue is such a beautiful group. Again, aesthetic-wise, gameplay-wise, and for all you, my cosplayer friends out there, if you want to do undead pirates or anything, this is where you can find them. Dear God. And now we're at number 14. Where the heart of justice shall destroy evil as we enter the Dimension Police. The first one on the list of the Stargate series. And it's great. The Dimension Police take a big influence from television. And I'll explain that later. The Dimension Police, as it's stated, are futuristic robots and superheroes who are basically, again, the police force of the whole collective world of this card game. Where we have the Dayusha series, which takes a big implement from Gundam to create super giant robots and kind of Power Rangers-ish a little bit. The Dimension Police's big gimmick is giving your Vanguard, your main focus card, so much attack points. Because once it reaches a certain number, other cards will gain abilities, such as Great Dimensional Robo Dayusha. If he's over 14,000 before he attacks, he gets an extra ability to deal extra damage. And other cards where your Vanguard is at a certain point, if their attack hits, they can stand up and attack again. And then we go to the ones that are obviously based on Ultraman. The Enigma series, which again, as the main guy gains a high level of attack power, abilities will activate, like Enigma Rain, where if she's over 14,000 before she attacks, and the attack hits, Storm, where if he's over 15,000 before he attacks, he gains an extra attack, and then he gains an extra damage. And then there's a card where after he attacks, you rest 4 of your guys, and the Vanguard will stand up. So it's more focused on having the main dude attack and deal big damage. And then later on, we get to the Grand series, which are basically kind of Transformers. And I'm not even kidding, where they, again, focus on beefing up the main dude, and the others will gain certain abilities thereof, which is great. The Dimension also, in keeping with the theme of power increase, the Dimension Police have a flip side. As revealed in Season 2, what's the point of a police force if there are no criminals to go after? So there is a small sub-series of the villain, which are giant kaiju monsters. So again, the Dimension Police take reference from Gundam, Power Rangers, Transformers, Ultraman, and Godzilla. How can you not love that? So the big thing with the villains is that when they come into play, they will decrease your opponent's main dude's base power level for the turn. And if the power level is under a certain amount, your guys will gain extra abilities. So while the heroes focus on building up their main leader in order to gain abilities, the villains work on decreasing your opponents. I like that synergy between the Dimension Police. So yeah, whether you're fighting for justice or want to be an evil criminal, the Dimension Police has won for the flip side.